So I'll now like to invite Dr. Parikshit Gokte, our dynamic scientific team member, to please introduce Dr. Hari Prasad. I'll do the slide
Thank you,
sharing
Dr.
for you.
Sonu. Can you share the slide for Dr. Hari Prasad, sir? Yeah. Dr. Hari Prasad is a young star and he works in Shankara Nethralaya, Shimoga. It's one of the most beautiful hospitals that I have visited. And he's an expert in refractive surgery. He's passed from Bangalore and he has numerous papers and awards in refractive surgery to his credit. So over to you, Dr. Hari Prasad, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Parikshit Gokte. But a small correction, sir. I work with Dr. Krishna Prasad Kurlu in Prasad Nethralaya.
My apologies.
Thank you, sir.
Can you share your screen? Can you able to?
So can you see, sir? And is it visible?
No.
No, it's not.
Share your screen.
I'm trying.
Dr. Hari Prasad, the green button on the bottom on the screen, you need to click on it.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So at the outside, I'd like to thank AIY Scientific Committee and Carl Zeiss for giving me this opportunity. Today, I'll be talking about some interesting cases in presbyon. So as you know, presbyopia is irreversible loss of accommodation, which happens during aging. And nowadays, we have many surgical approaches which correct presbyopia. But even then, management of refractive errors in presbyopia remains quite challenging. Coming to the specific topic of laser blended vision, also called as presbyon, it uses the principle of micromonovision with increase in the depth of focus. Micromonovision is planned initially by making the non-dominant eye myopic by 1.5 diopters, and the dominant eye is made plano for the distance. Depth of focus is increased by two factors. One is by the natural pupil constriction, which is maintained or retained even after the loss of accommodation. Next is by increasing the, or inducing the, I should say, inducing the controlled corneal aberration in both the corneas. So when there is micromonovision, along with increase in depth of focus, patient is able to see clearly both the distance, intermediate, and the near. As in any other surgery, more so with presbyon, patient selection is the key. So you need to see the patient's visual needs, occupation, and the daily tasks before selecting the patient for presbyon. Now I'll be discussing about 3 cases which have undergone presbyon with us. All 3 have different refractive errors and visual needs. My first case is a professional photographer. He's 47-year-old. His dominant eye is right eye, and he comfortably accepts the monovision trial with the spectacles with 1.5 diopters. As you can see, is myopic. Right eye has a refraction of around minus 3.5 spear and minus 0.5 cylinder, 180 axis. Left eye has refraction of minus 2.75 spear and no cylinder there. Pachymetry is quite adequate, around 535, and cornea is keratometry is quite regular. I'll be telling about the results at the end. Now coming to the case number 2, he's a businessman, owns a retail chain of retail stores here. His main motivation to undergo the procedure is he doesn't want to look a day older. And he came to us saying that he doesn't want to wear any glasses when he started to feel the need for near vision glasses. So we tried evaluating him. He's a 42-year-old, right eye being dominant. And he too accepted the monovision test with micromonovision test with the glasses for 1.5 diopters. As you can see, he's almost immetropic in right eye. the refraction being plus 0.25 sphere and plus 0.5 cylinder at 70 axis. In left eye, it is plus 0.5 sphere, that's it. Pachymetry is quite adequate, around 520 microns, and keratometry is quite regular. Coming to the last case, we have a politician who is quite dynamic. He's a local politician, very outgoing and dynamic. His main complaint was he kept on losing his glasses whenever he went to his function or any rally. So he didn't want to use his glasses. So we evaluated him. He was a 51-year-old person. His dominant eye was right eye, and he too accepted the monovision test with 1.5 diopters. He was a hypermetro. His refraction in right eye was plus 2 diopters and a cylinder of plus 0.75 at 90 axis. In the left eye, it was plus 1.75 sphere and plus 0.75 cylinder at 90 axis. Again, the pachymetry was quite adequate and corneal curvature was regular. Before I tell the results, I want to make something very much clear. All these 3 patients accepted the monovision trial very well. They were very much comfortable with their distance and near vision. All were well motivated to undergo the procedure. And on examination, there was no intraocular abnormalities, like even the early changes of cataract or any retinal abnormalities. And the procedure, surgical procedure, went uneventful. So I was expecting a quite similar results in all of them. But to my surprise, the most happiest person was the photographer. He came back to us after 3 days of the surgery with sweet box, telling that he was quite happy with the vision and he has never seen the thing so clearly in his life. Next came the businessman, even though he was slightly unhappy in the immediate post-operative period, especially for the distance. But at the end of 3 to 4 weeks, he adapted very well and had a very good distance, intermediate and near vision. Last came the politician. He was quite unhappy actually in the immediate post-operative period because his main complaint was he was not able to see the crowds in the rallies or the function he went. So he was very uncomfortable and kept on coming back to us, telling that his distance vision is quite blurred. And it was quite a hard time for us to convince him that everything will be all right. We kept on reassuring him. And thankfully, at the end of 3 months, he adapted really well and his distance and the near was quite very well. And this was the trend that we have been observing in our center. Most of our happy patients are the myopic presbyopes, and then came the emmetropic presbyope, and lastly came the hypermetropic presbyopes. So when you compare Presbeyond with other surgical procedure treating presbyopia, patient who underwent Presbeyond ultimately had very good distance, intermediate and near vision, and they adapted to the procedure very well. And if at all, in the rare case of reversibility, Presbeyond is very easy to reverse also. You can just treat the dominant eye and correct whatever the residual refraction is there. So I can safely tell that probably the Presbeyond is the best presbyopic treatment available till date. And it makes your patients quite happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hari Prasad. Now I request Professor Namrata Sharma and Dr. Pooja to give short comments.
I got disconnected in between because of network issues, so I was not there for the presentation.
Pooja?
I think brilliant presentation, Dr. Hari Prasad. We do know and we have heard from a lot of experience of Dr. Kudlu sir and Dr. Shri Ganesh sir that Presbeyond works wonders. I just have one quick, one small question of even for your myopic patients, sir, you would prefer doing a Presbeyond or you would prefer doing a monovision for myopic patients?
Yeah, Yeah, that's what I told. I mean, in our setup at our center, we have been doing Presbyon since last 6 to 7 years. And the happiest patient for us in Presbyon have been myopic presbyopes. So they've been consistently giving good results. Came the immetro presbyope and lastly the hypermetropic presbyope.
Okay, thank you.
I think Pooja, just to add on to this, actually this Presbyon, I really don't know. Mine was probably the first soft, almost around 8 to 10 years before.
Yes, sir.
8 to 10 years before I got. So that time my results with my software with myopes, it's really working very well. But if you ask Dr. Ganesh or Sheetal, they say that their hypermetropic presbyopes really do well. Probably your pre-op evaluation and topography finding, PACI, all factors come together and make sure that patient doesn't have cataract. All these points come together, then come to a best results.
So when you brought the point out of cataract, I completely agree with you. Why I asked the question was for the same reason, sir, because a lot of them say that for myopic patients, you prefer doing a monovision. For hypermetropic, your press point works well. But when you came to the cataract point, a lot of these patients are between 40 to 50 years of age, and you cannot on slit lamp examination see any cataractous changes. So is there any other way you would like to rule out the lenticular aberrations, or you would just go ahead and do a Presbyon?
You need to have eye trace equipment with you actually to get a perfect reading. If your eye trace gives that there is even earliest of the cataract, you should never pick them for the Presbyon treatment. Then if the patient, after the Presbyon treatment, I think I've been doing last 8 to 9 years. Now patients, 1 or 2 patients are start coming to us with the cataract. So what to do next? So what we do, we normally we go to the ACRS calculator and the regular how you do post classic cataract, this one IOL power calculation, but we put them non-aspheric monofocal lens in the both the eye by keeping the non-dominant eye 1.5 diopter myopic. If you put the 1.5 diopter this one to the non-dominating eye, then after the cataract surgery, still the patient will have the good near vision, even for a good distance vision. That's what we observed.
Okay.
Kudlu, I just want to rephrase this question. Do you have any upper limit for doing Presbyon? For example, I don't do presbyopic classic, but of late I've started doing reasonable numbers of clear lens extraction, and I think especially for 50-year-olds, high probes. And I use the eye trace, look at the dysfunctional lens index and go ahead and do it. And especially with the current crop of trifocals, extremely happy patients. So is there a say 48, 50, where you would say that I stop doing Presbyon and look at the lens? Because as Pooja asked, the lens is defective, and maybe replacing it with the current quality lenses would be solve the problem for the patient on a long-term basis.
It's very good question, sir. I'll just give an example of one of the Swamiji. He is around 64 years old. He doesn't want any of the intraocular surgery. That time I did not had eye trace. I have to send him to Bangalore to get his lens dysfunctional index. Then they said that there is hardly any cataract. Then I gone ahead with the Presbyon, but not adding the plus 1.5 adapters. I little bit increased to 1.75. So 1.75 add in the non-dominant eye plus some amount of spherical aberration in that particular eye. That means patient will have a near vision effect of around 2.25 to 2.5. The patient was very happy. Once again, as far as the refractive error is concerned, for hypermetropic, I don't pick them more than 2.5. That is my upper limit, sir. If they are having +3, +4 diopter normal, I don't advise them for doing for Presbyon. Rather, I consider them for trifocal or extended depth of focus lens. But for myopic, if they're around up to -4 or up to -5, -6 diopters also, I prefer to do a Presbyon than the clear lens extraction.
Any age limit?
If they don't have the cataract.
Any factor?
No, sir. No age limit, sir. Only thing is patient should not be having cataract, sir.
Right. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.